Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions. Shouldn't have said in front of them, right? And they usually say it in the best times, right? Right in front of you, right? But they're sponges, right? And your employees are too. Your friends are. The people that go to your church. Okay. The people around you are paying attention. They're paying attention to what you do and how you conduct yourself. And it's important that I think people realize that this is all about that spirit that he brought to everything, in terms of he just wanted to help. He just wanted to be a contribution, right? And come from a place of contribution. Anyway, I just think it's incredibly important that people understand that. Yeah. Okay, so chapter 3, so much more. Thanks for letting me take a break.
No. I love that. I love that.
So chapter 3, so much more.
Yeah, my favorite kind of concept that I speak to a lot of service-based business professionals and small business owners about, that John really mastered and is now able to put into this book and teach people, is just the concept. Again, we talked about the relationship snowball in the beginning, but another way to look at it is like building this referral family tree. Mm-hmm. Businesses that do rely on referrals at their marketing plan, like how can you actually be strategic about how you're building out your relationships? Something that we talk about here is like shoulder industry partners. Who are those other shoulder industries, those other professionals who spend a lot of time with your ideal client, or other places where your ideal client is spending money? Like building relationships with those individuals so that you can create and demonstrate mutual value to that client, get in front of that ideal person, is what this chapter is all about. Building out that referral chain, referral family tree, and really a system of how you can start thinking about that.
So you just go deeper, period.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, chapter 4. But first, DOV.
This is my favorite.
I love this.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a new concept. John quotes like the book Give and Take, Adam Grant, also Adam Rifkin's principle of the 5-minute favor. It's just about, how do I observe and find ways to demonstrate value in my relationships? Now I joked, I was actually in Chicago last week speaking to an organization about the 5-minute favor concept and just developing like a DOV mindset, demonstration of value mindset. And I'm like, John's favors though were never 5 minutes. And I think that's what this chapter really is all about, that there's maybe it will take you a little longer than 5 minutes, but there's really creative ways that we can demonstrate value in our relationships. And yes, John was like the gift giving king. But it doesn't have to be this big, high investment of a gift. John, one of his favorite things to do was to send a 3-way introduction text that was a video message, edifying the person, right? Handwritten notes suffice sometimes to show up and really edify somebody and appreciate them. So all of those demonstrations of value, pouring into a relationship first before you make any ask. This is separate from asking someone to do something for you or asking someone to have a meeting. First, DOV, demonstrate value.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So understanding each other. Chapter 5.
Yeah, this is kind of once you start to develop relationship with somebody and you want them to be a potential referral partner for you, the gap a lot of times is you think this person's going to go out in the world and refer you business, but actually there's a lack of clarity of what you even do. I mean, Mike, we could probably sit here and go through all of these, and we've had 2 conversations now with each other, but we haven't been really intentional about asking and getting clear about understanding actually what each other does on a day-to-day basis. Like, you own a bunch of businesses and you have this amazing podcast, and I know those things, but if I were a referral partner for you, I would really need to be clear about what John calls in here the big 4, which is what you do, who you serve. This one I love, what you don't do. Like, I want to understand the contrast. And then who is not a fit. If I see someone walking down the street, like, these are the things that I want to be able to kind of materialize and look at and be like, oh, that person needs to talk to Mike.
Right.
Right. And sometimes actually sitting down with referral partners, potential partners, having what we call a clarity conversation and understanding each other. That's the communication step that's needed. And that's a system everybody can implement.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is just about identifying it, right? It's about sitting down and getting on purpose about who you are, who you serve, who you don't serve, right? And then specifically, what, who's not a fit, right? Who's the person that we're not going to be sending you, right? In other words, don't do me any favors, kind of thing, right?
Right. Exactly.
So it's we, not me, chapter 6.
Yeah. Love on your team. Empower your team to be able to do this, and take on some of the relationship energization that happens. I mean, the story here is about the former CEO of Pepsi and how she wrote handwritten notes to every single one of her direct reports, but actually not directly to them, to their parents, edifying the job that her employees were doing, that their children were doing, which is something I have to say, John did for my parents as well. They still have a video of John saying when I first was hired, some great things about me and how he was excited for me to join the team. And I just think that is so rare. Like, we can think about relationships and building this strategy outward for the success of our clients and how we build referral partnerships. But ultimately, if we want to be able to do that, we need to treat our team super well as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I love the fact that, like, I joined a company a few years ago and they sent my wife flowers.
Yeah, love it.
Right. And in the note, what they literally said was, thanks for letting him spend his time with us, right? And that was one of those things where it was like, because they knew, and my wife did too. They knew I was going to work a lot of hours because it's just how I roll, right?
Yeah.
And so I ended up working like 90 hours a week with them. So they sent her these flowers and thanked her for, she's going to be living without me for a little bit. And we ended up on the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies list. We were number 183 that year nationwide. So, and it meant a lot, man. It meant more to me than it did to her. The fact that they did that for her. Yeah, they did that for her. All right, part 3, industry break-in.
Yeah. So what this book does is also break down that we understand that business leaders are likely in different stages of their business. Some may be breaking into industries, some may be further along and have had a business and these people in their CRM for 30 years and they just want to up their referral game, right? So the industry break-in section of this book is really about, you have relationships at your fingertips. Sure, you may not have all of these clients yet, you may not have all of these referral partners yet, but start with the snowball that you have, energize those relationships in a way that you can snowball up. And we really believe when you don't have all of the money in the world to invest into online advertising and all this time to invest into social media, the best way to become relevant is word of mouth. Get people talking about you, get people referring you business. And that's how we believe you can break into any industry.
Beautiful. Next is industry A-list.
Yeah. So this is another one of those
industry A-lister.
Yeah, those pathways, right? That like maybe you already have a good beat on your business, but ultimately you are trying to be more strategic with who you partner with and those referral partners. And the best way that John teaches here is the can, willing, want test, qualifying those referral partners of, can they refer you? Do these people that you're spending so much time investing in actually introduce you to your ideal client or actually provide value in this relationship, right? Are they willing to? So people, this is something, a phrase, it's all about who you know, right?
Mhm.
But it's actually like who you know, who likes you, and also like who's willing to take that like and put it into action and do things for you, who's willing to refer you. And I think actually qualifying relationships in that way is important. And then, do they want to? Have they proven themselves to be a referral partner yet? That's definitely something that you can walk through and qualify some relationships so you know where to spend your time, energy, and resources.
So the green light question,
Yeah.
if you had a client slash friend or connection slash family who was looking to choice A or choice B, right? Fill in the blank. Who would you recommend they call first?
Yeah. Such a good question. That's a
A
question
big
to
deal.
qualify people. Yeah, well, really what that question materializes as is like most people call and just ask for a referral, right? We want to get people away from that. There's a way to create a relationship system, a referral system around getting more referrals into your business that isn't just picking up the phone and calling your old client list of 100 people and asking if they know anyone. I always pick on realtors, unfortunately. I'm like, if you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell, right? This is a variation of asking for a referral without asking a little bit and qualifying that person of like, would they be willing to be a referral partner for you?
Mhm.
If they that you, of course, right? Like I would always recommend you. Now, also, what I love about this is you have the opportunity to kind of coach them a little bit of,
Mhm.
what would you say about me? Like, I want to better understand how you're out there talking about me in the world. So maybe I can tweak that. I can appreciate that, what have you.
Well, I think the cool thing about our situation, and
Yeah.
I'm talking specifically about the podcast, but everything we own, everything we've done has been referral based. When we
Yeah.
first got started less than 18 months ago, like 17 and a half months ago,
Yeah.
when we first got started, I was chasing people to get them on the podcast. Now I've got people sending people to me,
Right.
right? And I haven't been asking people for referrals. Right? One person reached out to me and they said, who are you looking for? And I'm like, people with interesting life stories. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a particular industry or particular, right? They don't have to be an author. They don't have to, right? I'm just looking for interesting life stories that my listeners can learn from.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is that's sort of what we've turned into. Is we've turned into this opportunity for people to tune in. Like
Mhm.
our impactful listens percentage started at 70%. Do you know where it is
Mhm.
now after almost 2.2 million listens?
It's high. I remember.
82.
Yeah, it's high.
82. So 82% of the
Yeah.
2.2 million listens, right, or almost 2.2 million listens, have stayed 75% or longer per episode. I mean,
Yeah.
we're snagging people, you know what I mean? And we're keeping them. So it's really kind of cool. This I love. This is an
Yeah.
excerpt from the book, but this I love because this is John. Okay.
Yeah.
Always be contributing. Thank people for their thank or pardon me. Always be contributing, thanking people for their time, fast follow-up, collect and capture, keep it short and simple. It's literally his playbook. It's what he's all about.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
this. Okay, part 5, referral overflow.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of also the gifting point of, in giftology, we talk about like surprise and delight and planned randomness. And there's some key moments that in building out a referral system, we can show up and appreciate and nurture the relationships that are showing up for us. So we talk about actually following up after a referral closes or after even someone introduces you to someone. There's actually a big communication gap that a lot of businesses have of maybe someone introduces you to someone to be on the podcast and then not actually following up and saying like, "Hey, I actually had the interview with Sarah, it went great," right? That communication gap is something that we can systematize and better But also now, if I do refer you somebody, maybe I'll get a handwritten note to say thank you, right? There's those moments that we can create in this referral system that play off of Giftology, and ultimately just have you continue to create that relationship snowball at scale. You can't be in 50 places at once, right? So being able to kind of operationalize this is key.
I have to get a lot better at that.
We can help you. Just
I'm really terrible at it.
this book, that's the thing. You just need to implement the book and you'll have the system.
See there? That's what I love about this. Part
Yeah.
6, grow without you.
Yeah. Um, this I love because this is truly the team that John has built around him and the systems that John built around him, and quite honestly why we are here and can continue on his legacy today. But when you're thinking about relationships, especially when you're scaling your business, a lot of times it's who we call the accumulator, who's in that driving seat of accumulating all these relationships, needing to nurture them, follow up with them, have the calls, right? Like that's founder-led sales at its finest. And if you don't build out the other people in your organization, or if you're a solopreneur and you just don't understand the other functions in your organization of there's an accumulator, yes, of course, but there's also someone who can be energizing the relationship, an extension of you, that person that's writing the handwritten notes, maybe that's person that's sending the follow-up email, and then also a manager of the relationship, someone who maybe is like actually doing the nitty-gritty work in the CRM that nobody likes. So actually thinking about like, how can I scale this from a team perspective and not lose that even as my business grows, I want to care about relationships. I want referral partners to be a strategy for me. How can I build out the structure to make sure that happens?
So a good friend of mine is a big producing realtor, one of the
Yeah.
top producers in the world
Yeah.
in real estate. And he has hundreds of thousands of people on his database.
Mhm.
Okay. And he has this past client database that's smaller, obviously, right, than hundreds of thousands. And he has a follow-up system. And part of his follow-up system is every 3 months, 4 times a year, every 3 months, this person from his team calls his past clients and just checks in. They have the CRM in front of them. They know they've got, 2 kids and they've got,
Right.
right. And, right. And they just change jobs or whatever. This person that does those follow-ups and sits and visits with people all day long that are his past clients is actually a grandma.
I love it.
She's retired.
Yeah.
Okay. She lives on a lake. She sits out on her front porch looking at the lake and makes these phone calls because she's never more relaxed and more completely focused on them than
Yeah.
when she's literally sitting there watching the ducks do their thing, right? And she'll apologize every once in a while when she's on the phone because the ducks are quacking at each other, I mean,
You
it's
got
the cutest
that
thing you ever
job.
saw in your life, right? And
Yeah.
and these people just love her. And the thing that my buddy says is he goes, I'm such a hard charger that I'm going to lose focus. Not that I don't love these people, but I'm going
Yeah.
to lose focus. He's like, she'll sit there forever and have a
And
conversation about the kids and about, the little league thing and all that, right? I mean, there's something to be said for hiring help and hiring the right help to do the right thing and having them love on your clients.
absolutely.
So part 7 is upskilling everybody. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, this builds on what we just talked about. Like energy is a finite resource. We can't be everywhere all at once, right? So we need to either create help and structure and systems inside of our business, inside of our team. But also when you are thinking about the relationships that you want to invest in, the relationships that you need to keep up with more. I always tell people, and this was John's philosophy too, like just prioritize 10, 15, 20 people who
Mhm.
truly matter.
Yeah.
And you can give the energy to invest in. So if you don't have an amazing grandmother who can sit on the lake and talk to people for hours, right? We need to use what we have, use the resources we have available, and be strategic about what that list of relationships look like. So cut down your list. Some people, when they engage in some of our further education, like we're like, how many potential referral partners do you have? And they're like, 500. And we're like, no, like think about the list a little bit smaller. Maybe that is just 10 names right now that you're intentional about running the system on. We can't start at 250 and run the system. Let's start with 10.
Yeah. And let's be on purpose, because that's the biggest thing, I think, about everything having to do with John and everything having to do with giftology and beyond giftology, and specifically the Ruhlin group, right? Is you guys are just on purpose. You're constantly differentiating yourselves, right? And you're constantly taking it to the next level. Beyond Giftology is a perfect example of that. So if people want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you and your team?
Yeah. Go to giftologygroup.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm sure I will be posting plenty of things as we come up on the launch of Beyond Giftology and John's book in March. Sara Hardwick on LinkedIn. So all of the information you'll need to, whether that's buy the book, get engaged with further implementing these systems and things that we talked about today into your business, or actually having us do gifting for you. I know we talked about that on the episode a little bit last time. That will all be there and ready for you. And most importantly, anyone who's listening, Mike and I have connected so much over these past couple episodes, but I would love to connect with you too. I'm so grateful to be here and be carrying on John's legacy in this way. John was truly an incredible boss, an incredible leader, an incredible visionary, an incredible husband and father, and a friend to so many people. And we're just so excited about carrying on his legacy and launching this book on his behalf.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy, and you guys are an amazing organization, and what you continue to do to add value to people is absolutely invaluable. And I can't say enough. I mean, I'm completely ready for the book to come out. When's the release date?
The week of March 16th. So,
okay, so it's coming out so what are we, February? So we're taping February 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. John's birthday is actually March 16th. John 316, which we love.
Yeah.
But I believe the actual date will be March 19th. So
that's cool. That's cool. And where can they get the book?
The book will likely be on Amazon, on our website as well. So again, giftologygroup.com. A quick search there will bring you to what you need to know to order the book, and then Beyond Giftology on Amazon as well.
Do we have an audiobook coming out too?
That's a good question. I don't believe one has been in the works yet, but I'm sure we'll get there.
I hope so, because I do all my stuff through audiobooks. I walk 120 miles a month, and so I literally listen to audiobooks as I'm walking. So yeah. So Sara, I cannot thank you enough for being our guest again on the Mike Litton Experience. I'm excited to have you back one of these days. I'm excited for everything you guys are doing. And if there's, like I told you before, if there's anything I can do to help, please reach out. Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks again. We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.